Alright, so we had played a bit with this the other day, and it felt really sweet. If you missed it, Bard class makes all your things cheap on the second level, and then the third level lets you start chaining through your deck, casting a bunch of spells. So we've got things like Minsc and the Demon-Fang Gnoll here that get cheaper. With that, you kind of draw through your deck. And then Inkska lets all your legends start tapping for mana. Another powerful aspect this deck has going for it is Jaspera Sentinel plus Magda, I think, is honestly one of the more explosive starts you can have in this format in general. And then you pair that with Augusta, Dean of Order here, which says when you attack, you get to untap your creatures and then retap them, which lets you make a bunch of treasures with this. So we've got some powerful legends here at the top end. Last time we played this deck, we actually chained through our deck and activated this for 20 plus damage in more than one game, so I'm excited to see if we get a chance to do that again. I'm going to be sticking with best of one for this again today. So this is not a historic deck. We played the deck in historic yesterday, and it was not very good. I think this archetype's actually very good in Standard 22, and Standard 22 ranked is only best of one. So we will be playing this in best of one, but that's because it's the only option here. So, no white mana here, but I think we keep this, because remember, this is a 2-drop on the backside, and she ramps into herself, so we get to play the Ringheart Crest on 2, and then we get to play the 2/4 on 3. I think we can keep this. Hey, come eat pizza, thanks for 32 months, welcome back. I'm glad you're having fun with it. I've been enjoying it. Heyo! Well, now we just do that. Never didn't have it. We found white mana too. We found Bard class and white mana. Does the opponent not have a third land? That's good for us. Peace was never an option for Boo, chat. He's Boo Dabba Dee Dabba Die. Do 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 boop 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 boop. No, my hamster! Alright, so... Red source... Name Elf with this, because Elf is basically our only non-legend. Then I guess I can play the God of Kinship here as well. I still have this left over to get going with Bard class next turn, which is nice. You did know Fire No Steel. Thanks for keeping me around. Thomas, thanks for the 23 months. Good morning, good morning. So this game's probably over with the opponent stumbled here. Did the overlay not load itself? It did not. Thank you. You might have to refresh your screen, but the untapped overlay should be loaded up. Should be loaded now. You know, we're not under any pressure. I'm just going to go ahead and chill here. Thanks for the 26 months, Gunner Dreams. Welcome back. There's no reason to, like, play this and potentially brick off. Gunmetal Dragon, thanks for all the Prime support. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Appreciate the entire year. Oh, I forgot to float a mana. Yikes. Okay, well, we can fix our mistake here. And now Inksca comes in, which lets all of these tap for mana. Keep the Minsc who's not summoning sick. Play our white source. Play the Dean of Order here. Alright, so this gives Mafam Vigilance, so we can start by attacking if we want. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more mana this turn. And actually, when I attack, this is going to untap. Oh, actually, I have more mana than that, because I can cast some of these, and then attack with something and untap the rest. So, what do I want to do here? So we'll play second Bard class, and then we'll attack with this, which untaps my friends. I don't think I want to trade this for Righteous Valkyrie. I could just cast Bridge. I think Drizzt is actually better than Bridge. It's like, gets 2 counters from these. I like when you get to pop off right away to start. Feels good, man. Feels good, man. Yes, Bard class level 2 stacks for double green and double red cards, exactly correct. And you get 2-on-1 counters when you put things into play. So, this hand's obviously missing top end, but I don't think we ever mulligan Sentinel into Magda. It's just like easily our most explosive start by a lot, and it generates a lot of mana. So we'll put a stop at their end of turn, because we'll want to tap Magda to make a treasure. Just make a random color and then make a treasure with her. So, if we fail to draw a legend next turn, this can dig for a legend with its activated ability. How's this deck if you don't draw Bard class? I think it's actually pretty reasonable in Standard 22. The power level of this format is much lower than a lot of other formats, like Historic. Like, I don't think this deck is playable in Historic if you don't draw Bard class, but in 22 it's fine. Your kind of fair plan with things like 4V are super reasonable. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and cast this Plargg as the Dean of Chaos, because the only non-legendary, non-land permanents we have in our deck that cost 3 or less are Jaspera Sentinel and Bard class. So there's a good chance when we activate this for 5 that we get a Bard class into play. We just bottom 2. Oh, were there 2 in here? Sure. Read. I mean, I can just cast the dragon, right? And honestly, I think I just pumped the brakes for a turn, right? Like, this will be an untapped 6/6 next turn. I guess they're not really racing me, huh? Yeah, they might. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass. I think the conservative play is pass. I don't think we can lose if we like. While we have this going, if we just like chill with this. Yeah, but it comes to a similar conclusion. Goodbye, friend. So not quite Sentinel into Magda, but Sentinel into Plargg will do too in a pinch. The Flampler! Thanks for the 10 months. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Huh? I think it's that one. Nice. Nice solid ogre grunt there. Huh? I gotta show him 2 cards, chat. I think it's these 2. I want to guarantee that I can play this next turn. They were afraid of Boo. Hey, if we draw one of our off-color paths, we can play Prismatic Bridge next turn. Should be sick. Rats, think we're gonna lose our Prismatic Bridge chip. Really? Okay. Okay. Come on, off-color pathway. Off-color pathway. Off-color pathway. Well, I mean, this is like an off-color pathway if you squint. Am I supposed to cast this and just get it out of my hand? There could be value in putting this into play, because I have Plargg, and Plargg could get Bard class, and the front side of this does have value. Yeah, it seems like they're on a lot of discards. I think I want to just get this into play. Oh, it did have vigilance. No, you're right. He's gonna try and kill us with this lantern. Looks like it. I can just sack this treasure. So, I think I actually don't want to attack into the Eyebat, so I think I just pass here. So now this is really likely to find a Bard class, because, we only have, I'm gonna take 3 this time. I might want my treasure next turn. Don't tell us the odds, Jeff. We're 80% in a Bard class, okay? And those are the odds. We're 80%. Okay, so I can do that. How aggressive do I want to be with leveling this? I don't know is the answer. So I don't want to die in combat next turn. I think I just want to pass. Honestly, I might just give them a Brazen Outlaw this turn. I think I want the treasure here, actually. I want all my mana next turn. Rewarded for discarding a card. Okay, so now we... Okay, and then we start here. Actually, I guess this is technically free, right? Wait, why did it tap that instead of using this? Can only be spent on... Oh, it should only be spent on creature spells. Got it. That's fine. So I can play the Tree God, is probably the line. I guess I could play Drizzt too, though. Let's do that, actually. It lets me go pretty wide, and I think I want to spend these treasures casting him. Okay, so now this taps for white, and this taps for a color, and then I can use this. I can use this for mana, and I can cast this. And now I can attack with my 6/7 to untap all my stuff. Okay, and then I need to make sure I don't die next turn. So I have 1, this is 2, 3. I think I want to cast the dragon, right? Alright. I think that's all I've got. Go. Oh no! Oh no! Actual, factual, perfect top deck. Yikes. Yeah, I don't think we recover from that, right? Because they get Zero Guard back. Yeah. Yeah, woof. Yikes. Sometimes unlucky, chip. Hey, Shep, thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. Yeah, the way our stuff lined up, we couldn't kill them that turn. We fumbled around for a little bit too long. If we draw untapped green on one, this hand's one of our best starts. Even if we don't draw untapped green, hand's still pretty good, so we're definitely keeping. I lead on this and get my tap land down. Some black-white adventures. Could be black-white mid-range. So 17 months, Coley. Do I have a favorite subreddit? Closing my hand in a car door, because it's more pleasant than Reddit. So, to be fair, Come Eat Pizza, I don't know when the last time you looked at actual 8-set standard was, but, like, a lack of diversity is not the problem with the current standard format. Like, the current 8-set standard format is, like, actually pretty diverse. The problem with the current standard format is that it just literally hasn't changed meaningfully in, like, a year. It's just not, like, the play patterns are tired and boring. It's very diverse, it uses almost all the Eldraine cards. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to get a 4/4 with Death Touch here. Being on the draw was very rough this game. Also the fact that we didn't have... You get 2 4/4s. We were on the draw and we had 2 tap lands to start. Meant we basically went third this game, and going third was too slow. I played the board game Azul. Yes, this is one of the many things up on the shelf behind me. Yeah, we're just dead here. I celebrated my 2-year anniversary with my wife on Wednesday. After seeing 49 months here, I can understand why she feigns jealousy when you come up during Pogo. What's going on, Beetle? Good morning, good morning. Thanks for all you've done here over the years. It's great to have you around. I'm glad you've been enjoying the Pogo stuff. A couple of good little sub-communities in Hoaglandia these days. No, it's not just you. Blue-red dragons, well, I won't say it's been pushed out of the format. It's definitely been pushed back a little bit by the good aggressive decks. Both white aggro and green aggro are kind of tough matchups for the Dragons deck. Yes, the raid section is very active. That reminds me, I should reinstall that and log in 7 times so I can get the free legendary promo they're doing at some point. Read. Did we get jinxed? Are we now facing dragons? That is exactly what has happened. We are in fact now facing dragons. Oh, they're not playing dragons, they're playing giants. Yeah, I messed with my microphone settings, and it's better than it was yesterday, but it's still not perfect. I'm gonna have to buy actual better hardware. So, apologies, but it is what it is until I get a chance to get out and buy some actual studio quality equipment. How do I want to attack here? If we attack with both of these, can tap these and they trade with this, which is nice. So, pack tactics is what is referred to as an intervening if clause, which it means pack tactics as a trigger checks when it would go onto the stack if you meet the criteria for it, and it checks when it resolves. So technically, when we declare attackers, we're declaring only 4 power worth of attackers, so pack tactics does not go on the stack. Is the TLDR of the interaction there. Crush the weak. It's a good thing none of my things are very weak. And then because they showed me Crush the Weak, I'm gonna leave this untapped. It literally says the word, the person I just timed out for saying it's not an intervening if, there's literally the word if in the middle. That's the definition of an intervening if clause. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and give them a 10-minute break to read the card. Sure. Jaspera Sentinel on 1's real good. Get him. That was a good draw. I don't know how anybody, like, if you don't have a sweeper, you're not gonna beat this when you're on the play. They chose not to get rid of Magda. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Man, if we'd have drawn a non-green red land here, we'd have been able to play Prismatic Bridge. I don't even know if that would have been good, honestly. We're gonna play the 2-4 here. From the FAQ, once a pack tactic ability triggers, it doesn't matter what happens to the attacking creatures, the ability will resolve, even if all of those creatures leave the battlefield or their total power falls below 6. Can someone explain to me from a rules perspective why that's different than something like Scapeshift? What am I missing? How is Scapeshift worded, or Valakut? It's the tense? The tense is what matters? So with Valakut, if you no longer meet the 6 mountains requirement, yeah, it's a time traveling if, is what it is. Man, Magic is a good game, but stuff like that is shitty. Those distinctions make Magic a worse game in my opinion. We're like, okay, this has an intervening if in the middle, but the if is looking at the tense of the. It's not saying if you're attacking with 6 power. It's a if you attacked. So it's looking at a previous action, which is definitely a decision they could make. Or I don't think they want to trade these. They're just going to jump block. So the pack tactics didn't trigger because we only declared attackers with 4 power worth of attackers. So Arena should not have triggered. Arena got the ruling correct. No, they were technically untapped. So when they're declared, yeah, you declare them as attackers and then they're tapped as attacking. Is correct. Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably an accurate summation, Moxane. Their change in wording there is intended to make intervening if clauses more intuitive overall, but it conflicts with previous templating from a consistency standpoint. So they still don't have amazing attacks into my 6/6, which is good for us. So if I attack with this, I need to throw something away on an attack here, basically. Probably just a Jaspera Sentinel. So we'll go white, red, green, and we'll play the Dean of Order. And then I can go green, tap this, cast this. And then when I attack with the Sentinel here, it'll trigger the Dean and let me untap everything. And then we'll submit 0. So they get to eat this, but I got to untap my board. I want to tap this Sentinel and something else to cast this. I don't think so, because I can use this Sentinel plus this to use this at end of turn. Alright, and then they should be dead to Inferno of Mountain Stars next turn, right? We'll be able to get this to 20. So, red, cast this, nah, it doesn't, yeah, it's fine, right? Is that 20? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, we have plenty of red mana. For people, if you didn't see this deck the last time we played it, we got to kill people with Inferno for 20 a couple of times. The Dean plus Inksca just like pumps out so much mana. Your face. Yes, you can get the dragon to 19 power in a different way and then just activate once. All the activation cares about is when the activation resolves, if it gets it to 20 power, it pops off. Is the condition that we care about. Hello, baby girl. Hi. You come to visit the stream? You got some Legos there? Some Duplos? Legos aren't good for baby girls. Duplos are fun. Nice and big to play with. Got your train. This hand is great. Wow. Yeah, bottom this one. For those of you that are new to the channel, this is Haley. She's 13 months old, my youngest. She's pretty great. Yeah. You see the baby girl up there on the screen? You mean a big baby girl? Haley prefers the big view. Big baby girl view? Yeah. Tony did a whole lot of nothing there. So we get to go rather crazy here. We get to do this into... Tap off of this into play Bard class this turn.
An hour and a half.
She is very happy.
Tomorrow is 10 o'clock. Not today.
You showing him your train? Your train's pretty cool. Alright, so they killed Magda. Dude, do not slam that on my desk. It rumbles into the microphone. Although maybe the RTX voice... Maybe the RTX voice caught some of that.
Chat, do you care?
Alright, so if we level Bard class, we can play this, and then that lets us play Plargg out here. I caught most of it. You didn't hear anything? Yeah. The children are why I put up with the RTX voice clipping me on occasion, because it catches all sorts of miscellaneous stuff. Random banging and stomping and yelling in the background. Oh, they're Grixis dragons. Okay, so our lack of mana here is unfortunate. I guess we're just playing a 6/6. Sorry, a 7/7.
I'm hungry though.
So go eat something. No, you cannot have cookies.
When Declan says he's hungry, he's not usually actually hungry. He means he's digging fishing for sugar.
Have a cheese stick.
Oh, fine.
You want me to make you mac and cheese? CBJ. Peanut butter and jelly.
Okay, so
Do you want that?
this is at least a 4-drop, so we're not getting Shadow's Verdict off of that one, but still in a pretty bad spot here without mana.
Take her, or do you want to keep her?
You should go with your mom, right? I love you. Thank you for coming to visit me. Upsy?
I'm coming with you.
Alright, so that's actually a decent draw here as far as non-lands go. We get to go ahead and go Magda into Plargg, and then this goes back up to a 7/7, and we get to crack them. And then, stop me if you've heard this one before, but it looks like we're actually in an okay spot in this game, unless my opponent has Aldrin's Epiphany to take an extra turn. They didn't have it before, but they do now. They didn't suspend it, foretell it over here. Oh, this can rummage. We aren't supposed to rummage there, digging for a white source. Forgot this had 2 activated abilities. It's pretty good. The order is so good when we're like pseudo comboing, and the front side, both fishing up Bard and the rummage. It's reasonable. Opponent hasn't just slammed into us yet, so I'm going to hope that they don't have it. 3 looks at it here. I agree, the Marty Stack deck is sweet. That one's on my list of things I want to get back to. Alright, we're dead. Got it. Never not all the runes Epiphany. If they never printed Take an Extra Turn again, it would be too soon. Stands on the draw, but is otherwise very good. Maybe we'll be lucky and draw Jaspera Sentinel. Rats. They didn't have the Epiphany, but they had Expressive Iteration, and Expressive Iteration sees infinite cards. They found Epiphany. I don't even know that Aldrin... So this is one of the things that Magic players really need to understand. Is that I don't even think a card like Aldrin's Epiphany is too powerful. I think the play patterns just suck. Like, we don't have enough metrics to show that the Blue-Red Dragons deck is too good. In fact, the couple of small standard 2020 tournaments that we had, the aggressive deck seemed like they were okay at keeping it down. It's just, the Time Walk is just like the objectively best thing you can be doing at the mana cost. So it feels real bad. That like, okay, if you want to be playing, this is what you need to be doing. You know, I probably should have played Jaspera Sentinel tap lane last turn. I wasn't thinking. I was talking and clicking at the same time. So I'm not going to have any way to tap this, which feels bad. Yeah, I think that's a good take, Boshek. The 4 mana Teferi, putting turn spells behind a Planeswalker Ultimate is very, very reasonable Magic the Gathering card. I think that's a really, really good, reasonable take. Man, our creatures are just not particularly good at school chat. Is there a punish for me blocking with this? They're just going to sacrifice it to draw 2? Deal. Deal Areno. Magda. Sign me up. Hey, get him, boo. Alright. At least this dragon deck doesn't time walk us. Got that going for us. Sad. Oh, it's a 2/2. It's a 3/3 because they cast it with the treasure. Gross. I'm gonna attack like this. They want to trade this for one of these, that's fine. I have another Minsc in hand. We'll leave this back to chump block in case they just take the hit. I can block the 3/3. You have a 1/2 opponent. Yeah, they found the line. Jumping the Den of the Bugbear feels a little defensive. If they're high enough life total, they probably don't need to do that. Little bit outclassed here. Opponent drew their deck's namesake card in Goldspan Dragon, and we did not draw Bard class here until it was much too late. I could technically level it all the way up here, right? Nope, we're one short. Sure. Even if we could, it wouldn't matter. Out of mana for the turn. Yeah, this is good. Sentinel on 1's pretty much always a keep. The rest of your hand has to be pretty atrocious to not want to keep your... This is probably the best 1-drop in the format. Plargg is ready. He's here and he's ready to rummage, Chip. Vanishing Verse. Boo. Boo? We'll play this out as second green, because Esika is green-green. Want to be able to cast her if we draw her. They have another Vanishing Verse. Feels like they might. Oh. Deal. One of the things we're going to want to be on the lookout for with the fall set is definitely playable dwarves, because this just feels like one of the most powerful interactions in this set right now. And if we get another decent dwarf to pair with this, so you get to make even more treasures, it would be really fantastic. Not a bot! Thanks for the prime, I appreciate you re-upping. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Alright, so Retribution's a little scary. I'm gonna get to murder one of my things here. Yeah, Skullport Merchant is definitely like the definition of good, not great. I'm glad I brought my backup Drizzt. Oh, there's no dwarves in Innistrad. There were no dwarves in Innistrad last time. Do you have insider information to let you know there's no dwarves in Innistrad again coming up? Because there weren't Eldrazi on Innistrad last time, yet, you know. Stuff. Well, that's terrifying because those are likely the angel card that makes a bunch of friends. They eat Magda. They take 10, 11, 12. So I don't think they eat Magda. They probably trade with Drizzt. We'll play Minsc post-combat. They draw untapped land. Really? One of these is Doomscar. We could get into trouble if we don't draw the untapped land. So, I think the opponent actually messed this game up a little bit. Last turn, they double foretold 2 different of these, and I think they should have foretold 1 and cast the other as a 4/4 for 4. They did that because they were dead and they had no outs. They just wanted to show that they had the 2 cards there face down, I suppose. So you're right that their play was technically incorrect, but it also didn't matter because casting 1 to get 2 angels was the same result. They were still dead. So it's like, yeah, you're right that it's wrong, but also, like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, they could have a cast white spells quest, too. Big if true. We draw untap green source in 2 draws. We get to curve this, or this into this, which would be great. Nice. I think there's going to be Phyrexians in this drive. Maybe. Yeah, this is... Our deck's definitely the best Magda deck in the format. Between Inkska and Dean of Augusta here, we got a lot of good going on. Oh, you know what? I messed up. I should have tapped this for a mana instead of a land. Because what I get to do now is... I get to go ahead and attack with this. Which untaps that. That's fine. We're going to end up in about the same spot, right? I don't know if playing the bridge instead of the God of Kinship is... Oh no! She died when we tapped her! Oh no! Okay, so I should have played this. I forgot that was gonna die. But like, I also just like casting the Prismatic Bridge. Icy Ice! Thank you for the 13 months. Welcome back. Alright, we're gonna lose this game and deserve it, but I got to play Prismatic Bridge, so it was worth. See, look, I knew we were gonna get one anyways, chap. You just gotta believe. Oh, I could have tapped and used the treasure for Magda too. Yeah, good call. Yeah, we might be dead here, actually. Because of my mistake. If I'd have had one of these in play already, we could have, like, tapped it to get a legend this turn. But, like, yeah, they're gonna hit us with these, then this is gonna get double strike next turn. There's a non-zero chance we're just dead because of my sequencing mistake. We were pretty far ahead, and I got sloppy because we were ahead. Oh, I could have rummaged that. Yikes. Mistakes were made. Gosh, all my mistakes caught up to me this set, huh? We could have had an Inferno in play. So I'm gonna get to jump here and then take 4. I'm technically not dead on board. Technically not dead on board. Thanks to our Sentinel friends here. This game would have been a good example of our deck's power level when we don't draw Bard class, had I not messed it up and gotten our Inksca killed. Yeah, that'll do, pig. Because we take 8 from this now. These both have double strike. Yep, Sentinel in the Bard class, sign me up. Time to go to school, champ. Hear the Bard's College is nice this time of year. Sorry about that. The RTX voice does not catch the motor on this other microphone I switched to, it sounds like, so. Well, remember to mute when we go up and down. Our hand is pretty good here, but stop me if you've heard this before. It's looking like it's not going to be good enough on the draw. Looking like we are probably going to get run over. 13 months, Hobbit. Welcome back. No attack with that one's actually pretty good for us. I mean, a top 5 video of Creatureland, like, of all time, you mean? Or, like, just ones currently on Arena? Because, like, the selection of ones on Arena, like, isn't particularly large or interesting. Also, I don't like making videos of ways... I don't like making videos of, like, make a video about ways you could make the play-draw deficit better. I dislike stuff like that, because that's a good example of toxic late-stage capitalism. It's not my job as the consumer to fix Wizards' game. And past that, Wizards has plenty of good people that are great at game design that work for them. The issue with the play-draw discrepancy isn't that Wizards doesn't have ideas. The issue is that Wizards doesn't want to rock the boat and innovate and try anything. So me publishing a list of a bunch of ideas, like, they have a bunch of people that could come up with a bunch of ideas very easily. There's a ton of different stuff you could do to make the play-draw discrepancy less bad. Some of them involve fundamental rules changes. Other ones, it's not like, so... You could address the play-draw differential with... You could address the play-draw differential with card designs. You could fundamentally design your card game in a different way in some key aspects that make the play-draw differential feel less bad and less pronounced. You could also systematically address it, though. You could change the core rules of the game to make it so the play-draw difference is less represented. That's gonna play the dwarf since we have a bunch of them. 2 blue-white lanes and a portable hole, probably a control deck. So I'm going to offer this trade, because if they trade here, they don't get to draw a card with Raven's Warning next turn, which sounds great for me. And I have another Magda rolled up here, so I really don't mind trading off. I think they could be very lazy and give a treasure token to the person on the draw. I think that that's one of the many dozens of hundreds of different things that they could do to make the play-draw discrepancy be less bad in Magic. I think if you want to look over at the other kid and copy their homework, I'd be happy with that because it's better than nothing. But I also think it's worse than a lot of other things they could be doing. Magda first is free. No, Magda first means I have to tap Jaspera Sentinel, which means they get to hit me with a 5/5 and draw a bunch of cards. Swing in with the hamster first, right? No, chat, this card only activates at sorcery speed. So, what happens if I fire up Den of the Bugbear and then crack them with everything? If they traded here, they'd take 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What if I wanted to apply pressure to the Mordekaiden? Applying pressure to the Mordekaiden sounds appealing. We could make Drizzt a 6/6 double striker, that's true. And 6 mana. I gotta make him a 7/7, actually. Alright, these attacks kill Mordekaiden.
I'll swat you, pest. I'll be in my tower. Don't follow me.
Okay, so we're just drawing a bunch of cards. Seems decent for us. Am I just supposed to make a 6/6 this turn? Sometimes I make this a 6/6 and then attack with everything. They don't jump here. So that would be... If they, like, say they block this, they take 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And they drew a bunch of cards last turn and scryed, so I assume a Doomscar is about to happen. Yep. Oh, just nothing. Nothing's pretty good for us. Gonna like triple block my hamster? That seems loose. Yeah, you'd much rather trade with the 3/3, right? If this attack takes him to 6, it's pretty good for us. Egg of Soma, thanks for the follow. Ah, yes. The classic Planner Cleansing Oblivion Ring deck. Just good deck building right there, chat. We've been really good at having Sentinel into Magda so far today, which is nice. It's very, very nice. big difference between this deck and the historic version we played yesterday is this deck doesn't feel like I have to mulligan for Bard class or my deck doesn't do anything, which is great. Whereas the historic build is basically unplayable if you didn't have Bard class. And that's a combination of how the deck was built as well as the power level of the format. Standard 2022 is much lower power level than historic, so you can afford to be doing a little bit worse things on average. So if I do this, and then we tap this for blue, I get to play Prismatic Bridge this turn. It's kind of hot. The old turn 3 bridge. Sentinel plus Dwarf feels like BTE. Yeah, kinda. It's definitely the biggest explosive mana thing you do in the format. I've cast 4 spells, one of which is this, and my opponent's done nothing, so I assume this game is over. Okay, if they have a way to kill this bridge here, they're still in it. Just a Sentinel, boom. Yeah, they combine some old gods here.
I will cull the weak.
Never lucky, chat. Never lucky. If I send these here, she dies, right?
A pity our time is over.
Was that 2 of the worst possible hits in our deck in a row? Yeah, I think so. I think that would be an accurate summary of those bridge hits there. Yeah, Minsc and Drizzt both being 2 legendaries for this is very good. Well, they've got a bunch of snow mana, which makes me think Blood on the Snow is a possibility. So I kind of think I'm just supposed to, like, apply pressure with what I already have in play and not commit anything else in the short term. So just make this a 4/4, and then smack them. Yeah, Inksko is a decent hit. And then I can use the mana that these 2 make to draw another legend with Pervoli here. And this is a game where, like, you know, we're getting to see our deck actually do something and kind of pop off even without Bard class. Which is why I think this archetype almost certainly just gets better once we get more legends in the fall. Because regardless of if we get dwarves or not, we're going to get more legends. And hey, look, we predicted Blood on the Snow is coming. Alright, so they're getting back the Spider Queen. Probably want to take this. Now the question is, can Bridge grind us through Blood on the Snow and a second Planeswalker here?
Will be rewarded.
I think I'm just playing Targ here. Minsc making himself effectively 1 cheaper with God of the Tree is great. Does anybody know, is the first Innistrad set werewolves or vampires?
My children.
Because I know one's a werewolf set and one's a vampire set, but do we know which is which yet? Werewolves and then vampires. Okay.
Withered bloom is just as my favorite part. Watch the life essence fade.
Watch the life essence fade. These stupid spiders have reach. Hey, thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Rebellion. Welcome back. So I don't really have attacks this turn, so I guess we're doing this, and then we're doing this, or we're like just hoping for not another sweeper. I think is the plan. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9. It's for the 31 months corrosion. Welcome back. I get to see a lot of cards here, so there's like a decent chance we have another Blood on the Snow happen.
Let's go digging.
I always reward the loyal.
Kinnian. I don't know that the mana base is necessarily good enough to cast Kinnian consistently. It definitely seems sweet, but I don't know that we make enough blue mana to do that. Well, shoot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of these untap. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So if they don't have an instant speed piece of removal, I technically have lethal here. They probably have an instant speed piece of removal, but I think we're dead otherwise, so YOLO. I think I counted that right. Sedge. We tried. Bonin saw a lot of cards that game, right? Like, not terribly surprising that that they had it there. But we did actually have enough mana to cast that and get it to 20 in the same turn. I should try Kinnian. Kinnian would let us go, like, absolutely insane in some of these games. What do I cut to fit it in, though? Yeah, we can play this for 90 minutes. Kinnian might be worth trying. We do have like 12 pieces of rainbow mana plus some miscellaneous blue lands in the mana base, and I could technically get more miscellaneous blue lands in the mana base. Oh, Kinian's not legal. Yeah, that's a good reason not to play Kinian. Damn it, chat. Stigmast, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, I think I'm gonna... You know what, let's tee up some deck voting, and then we'll play one more game with this while we let you all vote on the historic deck that we're gonna play. So let's do that. I've got 3 different Arcanist decks for historic. So you all can pick which historic deck. Naya Arcanist, Mardu Arcanist, Temur Arcanist. You have 10 minutes to vote. We're going to play one more best of 1 game, and then we'll switch over to whichever historic deck wins the voting. Remember, you can spend your channel points to vote a little bit extra. You can spend bits to vote a little bit extra, so whatever floats your boat. Pick your favorite, chat. We are going to play with Arcanist today. That is correct. Which, if any, have new cards in them? None. New cards. New cards aren't very good in Historic. The D&D set, outside of some creature lands fitting into some mid-range decks, did not have an impact in Historic. And likely won't. And none of those decks want creature lands, so... I think I hold on to this because this could just get wiped away by another portable hole, so... Not even Demi-Lich. Demi-Lich has not been showing up in Phoenix decks, no. Why can't the Arcanix decks play creature lands? Because they're 3-color decks. So creature lands don't really fit into the mana base. Is Ranger class not playable in Mono Green and Historic? Mono Green's playable in Historic? It's news to me. Listen, chat, if you're gonna play garbage tier B-list decks, you can follow your heart and play whatever Magic the Gathering cards you want. Don't let me or anybody else tell you otherwise. So, like, if you're someone who's registering Mono Green and Historic, sure, register whatever you want. Have a good time, chat. Magic's a game you should play for fun. The Simic Stompy deck wasn't really ever actually a deck or good. It was a deck that people played for half a second, and then more people started to play it, and it very quickly fell off. Naya and Mardu look to be the lead. I actually have a pretty split vote here. Teamer's not that far behind either. So, if you have any kind of feelings on what we could be playing today, make sure you cast a ballot there. You could be the deciding factor. I'm just telling you that the thing you're asking about isn't a thing. Does this deck feel like it's lacking lands that produce white? Well, you'd be right to say there's not a lot of white mana in this deck. But you'd also be accurate to say there's not a lot of white creatures in the deck, so not playing a lot of white mana makes a lot of sense. So, yes, there's not a lot of white lands, but also, do I need to play more white lands? I only have 6 white cards in my deck, and I have 8 white lands, and I have 12 cards that make mana of any color. white is very much our splash. We're a base green-red deck. Like, this is a great example, right? Like, I don't have any white lands in play, but we cast Minsc, no problem. The Temur Arcanist deck plays the blue-green command, which puts counters and then flashes back. All three of the Arcanist deck have a command that puts 1/1 counters on the Arcanist and then flashes it back. Alright, we might actually get in 2 games while we're waiting for voting to finish. Alright, on to the next. Oh, Mardu Arcanist is creeping back up there. Depending on how long it takes us to finish Uncharted 2 as Zintoth, I might sneak in some Pokemon Unite at the end of the stream today. I've got my Switch set up on the capture card again. So we'll see. I'm not sure exactly how long we have. We only have 4 chapters left in Uncharted. Or 5. I think we have 20, 22. We're at like 22 out of 26. Will depend on how much we die. It sounds accurate. I've decided I'm a Garchomp main in Pokemon Unite. He's my boy. I mean, are the white cards stranded in my hand? Like, I've been playing the games today, and I don't think I felt like I've had white cards stranded in my hand. Have you tried it, Beetle? Because it's, as someone who bounced off of every other MOBA and will never play them, I've really enjoyed Pokemon Unite. They cut away a lot of the crap that's kept me out of other games like that before. So our start here is pretty good. We're gonna get to go Tree God into level Bard class next turn, right? So we'll play this for 2, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I need to draw a land. Oh, they're gonna take my Bard class away. Well, that's rude. Someone said you don't need Nintendo Online. I haven't fact-checked that, but someone in chat said Nintendo Online wasn't needed. Okay. Our big dragon boys here might get us through this even without our Bard class. And pump this up to a 4 and smack us. Zach Goals, thanks for the 21 months. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Mardu Arcanist and Naya Arcanist are still neck and neck. If you care about which deck we're playing next, make sure to open your chat and give a vote. Huh. I think I just play this now, right? Because it's a 6/6 on the ground and then starts generating card advantage. Temur has long since fallen off. It looked like a 3-party race for a little bit there, but as is often the case, that just doesn't stay that way for long. Tap this for miscellaneous mana at end of turn to make a treasure. Teamer went the way of Kanye. Listen, nobody ever thought Kanye was a serious candidate. Nobody reasonable, anyways. Alright, here there be dragon. So we get to jam with the dragon here. And then we can activate the God of Kinship off of the God of the Tree mana. Mardu Arcanus pulling ahead almost 100 votes here right at the end. Someone dumping in right at the tail. God gives everybody vigilance. I have a second dragon in hand. Mardu Arcanus with almost plus 100 votes will be our historic deck today. This might be lethal. Probably not having to play both, but... $80,000 shillings from Loot Arena. And 1,500 bits from Beansy. Bits were not enough for Naya. Rough. Well, we'll probably get to Naya again at some point. I bet this second dragon closes the game out. Oh, it's actually just lethal, right? Because I attack, and then in response to the untap trigger, we make a thing, and then this untaps. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I should wait until they declare no blockers, technically. Like, the Dragon Dean of Order Kinship is, like, legitimately powerful. We can't quite get to 20 this time. We've gotten to 20 a couple of times this set if you haven't been watching the whole time, but not this time through. So, to wrap on this one before we move to Historic, it definitely feels like Drizzt is kind of the weak link. Cut Bard class and build a 3-card combo mid-range deck? No, I mean, this deck as is, like, having two differently powerful things that are also reasonable together is a good place to be. Is the TLDR. I feel like I would get to a third dragon. Probably just play. I don't think I want 4 of these, but getting to a third's probably correct. Definitely loved the 4 Deans today. That felt great. Probably one Drizzt is fine as a fun of in here. I don't know if there's any other legends that you wanna sprinkle, but the core of this is it's just very strong. You have Bard class to do absurd things in the late game. You have Jaspera Sentinel plus Magda to have this really powerful ramp deck. Even this, just being like a 4-mana 6/6 in a lot of situations, was really good. We use every bit of this Buffalo. You play the Ringheart Crest early to ramp sometimes. You activate her to dig for more legends to generate card advantage. We get to use the bridge side of this with some consistency. Yeah, I like this deck a lot. Honestly, I think if I need to work on a deck, if there's a upcoming Standard 22 Best of 3 tournament that I'm interested in playing in, this will probably be the deck that I work on. It feels like a really neat mix of explosive early game while also having this powerful late game in a lot of different ways. Yeah, and honestly, all of these cards, right? Like, we've got... Normally, the downside to playing a bunch of legendary things is you draw multiples and they feel bad, but the fact that, like, 3 of our legendary cards here have this backside so we can play both. And someone asking how often do we play Dean of Chaos? You often do it for curve purposes, and when you're chaining through your deck, if you already have a Dean of Order out, you can play the Dean of Chaos as an additional legend, which is great. Yeah, the split god cards, the Deans are good. I like them. I like them a lot. Yasharn. Is that card still legal? What's that in? It is still legal. Oh, this is a Zendikar card. It was a Zendikar card. I don't know. I have to give up my pathways. I suppose I could give up some pathways, but for the white tutor, nah, I think that's too slow in bed. That doesn't find. Oh, that does find this, doesn't it? No, this is a class, not a saga, right? The white, the snow card does not find this. Yeah, we definitely activated Dean of Chaos to find, we definitely activated Dean of Chaos to find Bard class at multiple points today. Doesn't it block out treasures? Player can't sacrifice. Oh yeah, it does stop treasures too. Yeah, that's not good. Nah, this card's not good enough. That's way too slow and bad. The white tutor is search for whatever. Search for glory. Yeah, this one. This one finds sagas. It does not find class cards. Alright.